Welcome, my name is Isabella Brusati and I am the founder of Isabella Brusati Consulting. We support our clients in managing and leading the people dimension of organizational change management. This is Ask About Change. It is a series of videos in which I answer questions that are very popular when it comes to organizational change management that were posed by my clients or by people on social media. Specifically today I am going to talk about interdependencies. Pablo from Lima is asking, what are interdependencies and why are they important? Well, interdependencies are actually key when it comes to organizational change management. I define them as the relationship between different departments within an organization. Up to about 40 years ago, interdependencies were not key for the simple reason that the pace of change was much slower and the technology was important, but it was not key. Companies had their own inventory and stock in-house, and even if you had a little bit more, well, it was not a big deal. Now things have changed dramatically because the speed of change has gone up to the sky. You need to be ready, you need to be profitable, and technology within an organization is usually key. The change that you're going to implement in one department within your organization is going to have an impact on one or more other departments within the same organization. Sometimes the impact can be also on external stakeholders. So let's make an example. Let's pretend that you want to implement a new system, a new payroll system within your organization. And the first thing is, okay, payroll is processed by human resources, therefore it's going to impact only the human resources, right? Well, I wish it was so easy. That's actually not the case, because human resources, first of all, is only a department that is going to process the payroll. But for example, the money is coming from finance because there is an allocated budget and so on. So the first thing we will have to take into consideration is the interdependency within the HR and the finance department. Things like, are the two systems compatible or not? How are we going to train the people within HR and in finance? You can see that a change initiative that is not particularly complex already became a little bit more complex because the department, so the HR, is not independent from everything else, but it is interdependent to other functions within the company. Now, we also have to think about who is going to basically practically implement this system. Well, unlikely the HR people. Very likely is going to be the IT department. So now we have to think about also the interdependency with the IT department. So we will have to ask things like, is this implementation possible from the technical point of view? Do you have resources that are already trained in implementing this system? Or do we have to get someone from outside? And if we get someone from outside, we will have to think about getting more money, because of course we will have to pay for a consulting company or contractors, etc. So all of a sudden you can see that if the HR department was an island of its own, not an issue. You change the system, the payroll system, and it's done. But because the HR department is not an island of its own, you will have to start thinking about all the interdependencies and how the change on the HR is going to impact also the other departments within the organization. It could also be, as we said before, that the impact is going to be also on external stakeholders. Let's pretend that we got part of the payroll that is processed in-house and part of the payroll that is processed by an external vendor, so it's been outsourced. Again, in this case, we will have to think about the compatibility of the new system that we want to implement within the HR department with the system of our external vendor. So again, Is it possible? It is not possible? What are the costs involved? Is there any kind of training that we have to implement, not only for our people, but also for them? So little by little, you can see that is basically skyrocketing fundamentally. So one of the most important things when you're planning change, whether it is a simple or a more complex change management initiative, always think about the interdependencies so that you can plan better for future problems. Because of course, the bigger the interdependencies, the more resistance to change, the more people that you will have to involve, the more problems with internal politics, and so on and so forth. So interdependencies are key because it gives you a clear picture of how a change is going to have ramification within the company but also outside. Things get even more complex when you got several change management initiatives going on at the same time. So you got different ramifications going all over the places. And that's why it's absolutely key to have a strong leadership that is capable to plan and to communicate with employees. If you got any additional question, please use the box below. It's a comment box, and I will be more than pleased to answer your questions. And I'll see you on the next episode, which is going to be the 8th episode of Ask About Change. Thank you so much for watching.